This is Storytime with Ashley for CDFS 413. I want to tell you my story about adoption, so I wanted this to have a little more personal feel and a little more comfortable feel, something that I would tell you like sitting on my couch or curled up and us talking. So here's the other side of my office, and I've got my tea, and I'm going to tell you my story. So my parents have been married for a little over 50 years, and my dad is an avid golfer, and so they had talked about having children, and they were both in places in their work life that they felt like that they were ready to have children, but they had never discussed adoption. So my dad was golfing, and one of the gentlemen that he happened to be golfing with asked if he was interested in having a baby. And my dad, after a little clarification, it came to be understood that that baby was going to be me, and that baby was going to be born like the beginning of May, and that the biological mom was 16 years old, and she was very supported by her family, and she was ready to adopt, or ready to give to move forward with a plan for adoption. So that afternoon, my dad went home, and he was mowing the lawn, and my mom pulled in, and she said, "Why are you smiling while you're mowing the lawn? Because that seems strange, right? Like, who wants to mow the lawn and be smiling about it?" And he said, "We're having a baby." And she said, "Bill, I think I would know before you would know." And he said, "No, we're going to adopt a baby. Baby's going to be born in May." And so they went through, back then, they had to go through home visits just like they do now. And so someone came in and they looked over their house to make sure everything was safe. They did character references, and so they had to go through different people in their lives that would speak to their ability to be able to be a good parent. They had to hire an attorney in order to be able to do the legal piece of it. And then on May 1st, I was born. And then I had to stay in the hospital for 3 days, because at that point in time, you had the biological parents had a 3-day window to decide whether or not they changed their mind. So as you can imagine, like as an adoptive parent, that must have really been a long 3 days, right? Hey, this is amazing news, your baby has been born, but by the way, we're not able to let you see the baby, have the baby, talk, anything. So anyways, 3 days later, the attorney and someone else came and brought me to my parents' house. And so that's my story. The other part of the story is that my sister is also adopted. Once they realized, once they made the connection in the agency, then they also put themselves on like a wait list. And so my sister was born 3 years later. We are almost 3 years to the date apart. We have blonde hair and blue eyes, and we are the same height, and wear the same size clothes, and people always talk about how much we look alike. So that's my story. If you have questions about my story, feel free to ask them. I'm pretty open about my adoption, and my family has been. This has been something that has been important to my family, and then to also me personally. My mom talks about that the first time that they told me that I was adopted, I was the first day I came home. And she said that they were sitting with me, and they said, "We want you to know that you're adopted and you are so loved." And then as I got older, that story grew and grew and got bigger. I have never searched out my biological parents. I have the utmost respect for them and their families because I know that that is not an easy decision and not a decision that everyone makes. So I am extremely thankful for them. But like I said, if you have any specific questions or you want to talk about adoption more or you want to just ask something that's kind of on your mind, I'm going to set up a little FAQ, and if you have a question you can let me know, or if you don't have any questions that you want to share with a larger group, you can always shoot me an email or stop by in the virtual office hours. That's it for Storytime with Ashley. Have a great day.